takes 2 workers 10 days to prepare the ground for the huts being built for tourists here. Construction could be completed faster with machines, but speed isn't what's important for Sherif el Ghamrawi. The entrepreneur is more concerned that the locals have work. After earning his degree in engineering in Germany back in the 1980s, he returned to his homeland. Since then, he's been working to develop his vision of a more ecologically friendly tourism industry.
Das ist praktisch eine Baustelle.
This is more or less a construction site. Although we're right in the middle of it, people can live in the huts. We don't make a lot of noise. It's like we're playing in the sand. We dig a hole, put in bamboo, then fill it up again. The bamboo is bound with cord. It's all natural.
Naja, es ist Naturbau.
His holiday resort village, Basata, is being built on Bedouin territory on the Sinai peninsula. El Ghamrawi received permission to go ahead with the project thanks to his good relations with the Bedouin. Their way of life serves as inspiration for the resort. Its name, Basata, means simplicity in Arabic. It's almost midnight, and El Ghamrawi is taking us along to a Bedouin wedding he's been invited to. The Bedouins are the original inhabitants of the Sinai Peninsula.
There are 2 tribes here, the Tarabin and the Musina. I'm closer to the Tarabins, but I also have very good ties to the Musinas.
Wedding celebrations last for 3 days, a centuries-old Tarabin tradition. We receive permission to film men and children, but women are off limits. The strict gender division may seem out of date to many, but El Ghamrawi respects the rules followed by these once nomadic people. Still, by giving the Bedouins work, he hopes to make it easier for them to find a place in modern society. The bridegroom is one of the workers employed by El Ghamrawi. The Bedouins understand that he's a middleman between their traditional way of life and the modern world. The next day, El Ghamrawi is once again hosting a group of Cairo's school children. Since he comes from a wealthy Cairo family, it's easy for him to arrange contacts with the city's top schools. He tells the pupils how garbage is encroaching on the Bedouins' desert land, and that the Egyptians' way of thinking has to change. El Ghamrawi wants to make sure that the landscape surrounding his picturesque resort isn't ruined by unsightly waste.
Wir spüren hier Globalisierung voll.
We see the full effects of globalization here, and that means garbage. It's globalized waste. It's the same trash, whether in Germany, India, Egypt, Cairo, or in the desert. It's another aspect of globalization.
El Ghamrawi has set up a rubbish collection site. It's funded by an organization that he founded under the name Himaya, which means protection in Arabic. The organization's helpers pick up rubbish from the area's hotels and from the beaches. Then they sort it out and sell what can be recycled in Cairo. It's the Sinai Desert's first garbage removal truck. The collectors come from Upper Egypt and the Nile Valley. They're eager to work for El Ghamrawi because he pays better wages, not because of his ecological principles. But their boss is convinced that environmentally friendly development is the only option for the Sinai Peninsula. And garbage is just one of the threats to the environment here. Later in the evening, local Bedouin leaders gather for a crisis meeting to discuss plans to build a power plant nearby. They fear it will destroy coral reefs and their fishing grounds. The leaders hope El Ghamrawi can help with his contacts to the Egyptian government. The power plant is slated for construction amid deserted resorts. The tourist industry suffered a major blow after bomb attacks in 2004 scared away holidaymakers. El Ghamrawi doesn't want the power plant either, but he thinks that it's important to speak to investors about alternatives.
It would be very complicated if we say no. I don't know what would happen or what they would do next. And it would also be hard for them to find another location after they spent 2.5 years reviewing information to come up with this site. During those 2.5 years, we weren't consulted, and maybe if we had been involved from the beginning, we could have helped them find a different location.
El Ghamrawy knows that what he now needs are allies, such as the managers of the major hotels here. After all, they can scarcely be interested in having a power plant nearby. Business isn't going well these days. Five-star hotels haven't fulfilled investors' expectations, and instead they're having to rely on package tours to stay afloat financially.
Our primary asset is nature, so we have to market it in an environmentally friendly fashion. We can't simply exploit it. It's far too important. That's why we should be focusing on attracting environmentally conscious visitors and not mass tourism.
Other hotel operators are astonished at the success of El Ghamrawy's resort. They're keen to find out how he does it. And as they discover, it's not about money. Instead of constructing the standard complexes typically seen at beach resorts around the world, El Ghamrawy relies on ancient Egyptian building techniques. His philosophy is that even though globalization isn't about to stop, it's essential to focus on local solutions.
Every society, every culture should consider its origins and think about how life was lived in the past and how it would like to live now and in the future. You can't just copy others. Maybe the way Americans live is right for American society, but those of us here in the mountains with the Bedouin, or for those in Cairo, we can live differently.
The tourist huts may be built by hand, but each comes equipped with a computer. Think globally, act locally. El Ghamrawy is convinced that that's the path to success.